lead programmer in my studio in Los Angeles is German. He came from Crytek, and we've got quite a few. So co-founder of the company with me is actually another German. So no, great technology, great talent.
Yeah. So how many people are working on the game right now? How big is your team?
We have about 200, just over 270 people overall working on it. So it's a pretty big endeavor. There's 3 studios internally at Cloud Imperium. So we have one in Los Angeles, one in Austin, Texas, is where I used to do all my old Origin and Digital Anvil games like Freelancer and Wing Commander. And then another studio that's run by my brother here in Manchester in the UK. And then we have some development partners in Montreal and also in Denver, Colorado. So it's a big team, but it's a very big game. So.
Okay, so tell us, what are we going to see today, right here?
Well, so we're basically, we have a big event this Friday for the community. I think there'll be about 2,000 people there, which is, we did one last year at the Art of Versailles, which is right below the train station here in Cologne. There's about 1,000 people, and that's where we first previewed what we were going to give the very first module we were going to give the backers, because our whole process is we're building the game, it's not finished yet, but as we build it, we share parts of the game with everybody that's backed it, so they can play it and they can give feedback and see how it's going. So we showed what was called the hangar module last year, where basically it was a very, very tiny little baby step, where you were in the engine, you could see the ship that you had basically pre-purchased or pledged for. And this year we're doing another event where we're sort of going to be talking about the updates to the hangars and also to Arena Commander, which is the module we released a couple of months ago, which is the module for sort of dogfighting and practicing dogfighting. Doesn't have the full universe you can explore in and all the environments, but it's a good test bed for us to work a lot of the combat mechanics out. So what we're going to show here is we're going to get a preview of the asteroid hangar, which is one of the new hangars. So for this year, we've redone all the hangars. We're using a new graphical technology called PBR, physically based rendering, and it's much more realistic and photorealistic. And then we'll show a little bit of the space dogfighting combat, which is only a very small part of the overall game. And if anyone here is coming to the event on Friday, you're going to see a lot more stuff there.
Okay, let's see. Is the demo ready? Are you ready to go? Okay, so let's switch to the demo. Tech guys. Yeah, there we go. So
I mean, this is basically what we're calling the asteroid hangar, which is fairly dark right now. But if I have my brother back here is on the controls. So basically the concept with the hangars is this is where you keep the ships between you flying around in space. And the hangars themselves are also very modular. So the update that we're doing for this year is instead of before they were very specific and custom, now they use the system to be in the final game. So as you get more ships, they all expand. You can also add on parts to your hangar. You can have like living quarters or a gun range where you can test your weapons before you take them out in space and stuff like that. And like I said, we shifted to a sort of a completely kind of a newer, more photorealistic rendering technology that was also, Crytek first used for Rise in, came out last year. It's called PBR. Can you go to the control room, Aaron? Or are you going to go down the you can show the other areas too and go around the control room. But anyway, they're big, and there's like when you fly out to space, those in the roof, those are actually big doors that open up. I think over here is an M50, which is our racer ship.
So this will actually be a continuous world. You can just step into your ship right here, fly out, and you'll be in space.
Yeah, totally. So yeah, that's so we're going to be showing something special at the event on Friday that involves this ship. So it should be kind of fun, but that's our version of a Formula One racer for space.
Okay.
Do you want to go up to the control room, Aaron? Do you want to go up to the control room? The control room. There's a little control room we can go up to.
Okay.
But yeah, so I mean, the whole idea is to make all the environments where you are, like everything should be sort of immersive first person where you hang out, feel real. So that's kind of my goal. That's sort of what I like to do in Wing Commander all those years ago, is to, like, you don't think that you're necessarily playing a video game, you think you're in this other world. Actually, we just put a lot of little details in to kind of do all that stuff.
Actually, that's a very good point, because seeing this detailed environment, a lot of people are asking, what will be the hardware requirements of this game? Oh, this looks so incredibly detailed. Do I need a NASA supercomputer to play it, or where's this going to run?
Well, I think you need a powerful PC, but you know, I mean, the game's still got a fair amount to go in development. So we basically work for a high-end PC, which probably will be about a mid-level PC when the game's finally done. But also CryEngine scales fairly well, so you can turn the detail settings off and the resolution down, and it sort of handles the stuff.
Okay.
So it's by where you started out.
Actually, hat jemand von euch Fragen an Chris? Vielleicht Fragen zu dem Hangar, den man gerade gesehen hat? Möchte irgendjemand irgendwas wissen? I'm just asking for questions. Oder wenn ihr gerade got some questions about the hangar? No one? All right. Is there anything else we need to see in here?
Well, I was just going to show some of the detail. Like, if you go up the stairs here.
And we got the aquarium, right?
Yeah, you have an aquarium.
Yeah, the fish.
Yeah, everything. You get to collect ships as fish as you go around space. But if he goes through, go to the right. There you go. Go in here, Aaron. There you go.
Can I actually buy new fish?
Turn around, Aaron.
Very nice. Can I actually buy fish from my aquarium?
No, the idea is as you fly around the universe and land on different planets, you should collect fish.
Alien fish.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like basically,
it's a bit of a reward for exploring the universe.
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
So I think anyway, that was just a control room. But just to show you like there's different like places and environments you can go. So this is where you can control, open up the doors. I think there's a couch somewhere over there if my brother can find it. There it is. Go sit down. But yeah, we can show sort of the space combat dogfighting stuff.
All right. Well, actually, one last question about this. Will I be able to own a hangar like this when the game is finished?
Yes. Yeah. Well, so the idea is everybody starts. They all have they start with a hangar. And there's actually different manufacturers of hangars and different styles. This happens to be the asteroid one. But we have 3 other base styles. There'll be another bigger hangar for groups of people, what we call organizations or guilds you would have.
Yep.
And that's kind of your home. And then as you fly around and you go to other planets, you either sort of just land on the station there, or you can potentially buy or rent another place to keep your stuff. Because in this world, you have to take you're not magically transported to planets. So you got to fly, you got to take your goods, you got to think. So you may want to like keep some stuff on a planet on the other side of the galaxy, just so if you go there, you'll have equipment to rearm or do stuff with.
Okay, so my fish will be there as well.
Well, your fish is there and your home one. Okay. So you'd have to have 2 sets of fish.
All right. Any questions? Jemand Fragen? Weil dann, ja doch, da ist eine Frage, weil dann würde ich sagen, schalten wir so lange mal wieder zu Trailern rüber und starten derweil die Weltraum-Demo. So we'll start the space demo in the background and just switch to trailers and we'll take questions in the meantime. I see. Nochmal kurz melden bitte. Ja, I'll just take it. Wo war das?
We're going space. Yeah, I think they're going to go to trailer.
Okay, danke schön. Ja, natürlich. Meine Frage wäre, ich habe in meinem Hangar eine schöne RSI Constellation stehen. Wann werde ich die mal fliegen dürfen? Die RSI Constellation, das 3-Mann-Fliegeschiff.
So the question is, when will we be able to fly a constellation?
Not just yet, but if you're coming to the event on Friday night, you may just see something that you like.
All right. So actually, what are your next big steps to take in the development?
Well, so Arena Commander we released a couple of months ago. We've been patching it. That was what we call V0.8. So at PAX East, which was an event in America a little earlier this year, we outlined the Arena Commander roadmap. And the very first 1.0 is kind of where we want to get to. So we're going to be releasing 0.9 in about 2 weeks. 2 weeks today, actually. And that point is almost 1.0, and then 1.0 will probably be about 6 weeks afterwards. And that should have all the features, so a full lobby system, leaderboards, quite a few game modes. We're going to actually show some new game modes this Friday. And then after that, we're going to be showing later this year the first-person combat preview of what will be in the game.
What?
And then after that, there will be probably multi-crew ship combat, so
Okay.
ships that more than one person are on at the same time. And then we'll have some persistent universe stuff, the actual big universe. You'll be able to go out the door of your hangar and go walk around an environment, buy stuff in a shop, go to the bar. And then
Okay.
we're going to start to bring out the Squadron 42, which is the single-player part of the game.
So
And
it's
I'm going to release that episodically for the backers until it's finished.
So you're just starting to build the game bit by bit and
Bit by
just
bit,
putting
by
the
bit,
pieces
as
together.
we do it, while the people that have backed it get to try out the little bits, give
Right.
their feedback, and then ultimately it's all going to come together into one cohesive, huge game. Because it really is 4 games wrapped in one. I mean, it's a space sim, it's a first-person shooter, it's an economy and trading simulation, and it's a sort of single-player narrative game. And we're doing all of those at a very high fidelity. So it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of fun, and like again, thank you for everyone that has enabled us to be able to do that. It's really
Right.
great.
And it's gonna be huge.
It's going to be big. Yeah.
How many star systems will be in there?
Well, so we're the initial what we promised as the first one is 100 star systems, and each star system has multiple planets in and multiple landing locations. So I think we have about 420 different landing locations that you can land on, travel between in this universe. So it's pretty big. And we're also looking at doing some level of procedural stuff to allow us to go even beyond that. But we want to make it very sort of crafted and scripted in terms of, it's a proper experience. Because if you just do it straight procedural, you don't really, it's hard to make it feel like it has real character.
Yeah.
So for us, we want to definitely keep that level of character and immersion, but maybe use some procedural techniques to allow us to make the world bigger, quicker, because it's very hard to generate enough content to keep everybody happy all the time in an
Right.
online game.
Right. And actually, I remember that when you discover a new star system while exploring, you could name it yourself.
Yes.
So are you afraid of the Hello Kitty system yet?
Well, you'll have to find the jump point and explore the system. But yes, if you do, you can call it Hello Kitty. But yeah, no. So that's one of the things. I mean, actually, one of the big things that's pretty interesting is as we were making the game, especially at the beginning, the amount of people that want to do exploration is much more than I would have thought more people would be focused on combat. But really, I think a lot of people want to just sort of explore and do stuff. So we're actually deliberately looking at adding features and content just for that. So we're going to be showing again this Friday at the event some exploration stuff, which will be kind of fun. And we're actually looking at figuring out how to sort of generate stuff for people to be able to explore and discover and go down onto a planet and look through ruins and maybe find some artifacts and that kind of stuff.
Okay, awesome. Any more questions? Noch jemand fragen? Möchte irgendjemand irgendwas wissen? Ja, hier vorne, gerne.
Are you up, ready in space?
Chris, when will the variants like the 325A be added into Arena Commander to fly?
The variants, what, the 325 and all those, you mean? Pretty soon, so they're not going to be in the next release, which is in 2 weeks, but very shortly afterwards. So we're working hard on getting them in, getting the Avenger in, getting the Cutlass in, and then also getting the variants in. So probably I would say within the next 2 months. It's just that all the artists right now have been very focusing on some stuff that we're going to show on this Friday. So, and then all the variants will in. Oh, great card.
Okay, any more questions? No far? Yeah.
Mr. Roberts, how far is the revamp of the business and deluxe hangar?
So what was that again? I heard how
Oh,
fast.
didn't you hear it? Oh, sorry, I didn't get it as well.
You said you would revamp the deluxe and business hangar. How far are you in that process?
Okay, how far I'm in the process? I didn't get the bit.
Okay. You said you were gonna remodel the business hangar, the deluxe hangar module. So how far have you gotten there?
Oh, it's
When-
no,
when
it's
gonna be
done.
ready?
So at the Friday event, we're going to show all the new hangars, and they're going to release with V0.9, which will be in 2 weeks' time. So in 2 weeks' time, all four of you'll have the. They're not going to be called the business or the discount or the deluxe anymore. They're based on the manufacturer. So Selfland, AeroView, Revel in York, and then VFG, the asteroid hangar. So we're going to have all four hangars will be shown at the event this Friday. And when we release V0.9, all the backers will have new hangars with PBR looking very beautiful.
Okay, questions, Fragen? Keine Fragen mehr? Doch, da.
Will you be able to pay to purchase towels?
Oh,
Towels
towels?
are pretty important.
What you want the Star Citizen towel?
In game, the 42 million goal was everyone gets a towel in the hangar, but I haven't got it yet, so
Okay. Yeah. I would think I thought we had the towels in one of the hangars, but maybe that was just like something we did internally. But no, we can. Yeah, that's not a problem. It's just a matter of like getting the team that's doing all the assets to have the towel as one of the flare items. So we don't have it in. It should be, I would assume, not too far now.
Okay, I'm seeing the game is ready. It's already being played actually, so we can switch back into the live demo. But it looks pretty impressive as well.
Yeah, well, those are the sort of in-fiction commercials that we do in the engine using the game assets, but they're like commercials done by the spaceship manufacturer for its spaceship, like a car manufacturer. So this is actually my brother's behind the podium here. He's worked with me since the beginning, back on Wing Commander and Privateer, Privateer 2, Star Lancer, Freelancer. And we're basically just playing Vandal Swarm right now. We actually have some very cool new game modes that we're going to show this Friday, but we're going to do it first for the backers, so we don't want to.
We'll keep some secrets. So.
Yeah, exactly.
So actually, what we're seeing here is a player versus the AI, but you can also play this in multiplayer, right?
Yeah, no, totally. So you can play right now. You can get into the game. You can fly around against AI. You can play against other people. When the full lobby system will be in, then it'll allow you to get your friends together to play.
Yeah.
Right now, there's 4 different game modes you can play. This is what we call Arena Commander. So the idea with Arena Commander is it's a game within inside a game. It's like a simulation you can run inside your hangar to practice your dogfighting skills for when you go out into the big universe, so you don't lose your ship. So because obviously you'll put a lot of work into building up your ship, and so you don't want to just take it out there and learn how to fight and lose it. So Arena Commander, the idea with it is it's like a simulation made by Original Systems, which is a bit of a play on an old company I used to be part of. And it allows you to practice. So right now, everybody can get in, they can dogfight against other people or go against AI. 3 of the ships are in, the Hornet, which is what we're flying right now, the Aurora, which is the base starter ship, and the 300i, which is sort of kind of like our BMW spaceship of the universe. We're working on getting the other ships in for it. We'll have a few more with our update V0.9 and some new game modes, but right now there's 4 game modes, 1 just flying around, 1 which is what we call Battle Royale, which is a sort of free-for-all.
I see.
And then there's a Squadron, which is Squadron Battle, which is basically a team deathmatch. Then there's what we call Capture the Core, which is a sort of sci-fi version of Capture the Flag. We'll have 2 new game modes that we're going to announce at our event on Friday. And I mean, it's allowing you to fly around and play a part of the game, and also give some feedback or get used to the new flight controller model. We're trying to do some stuff that's very different than what I've done before, and some other space games have done before. So it's kind of pretty interesting to put it out there and get the feedback. And see what works and what doesn't. Watching people, use Twitch to stream their gameplay or do videos together. It's pretty interesting, all the
Right.
different stuff. There's some really good players out there.
Yeah.
Much better than maybe our QA department could compete, but the developers wouldn't stand a chance against some of those players.
You already got your own pros, so to say.
Yeah, no,
your
it's
pro
great.
players. Well, actually, when I see those detailed cockpits, every player is sitting in such a detailed cockpit in a very detailed ship in a very detailed universe. So, when I think about big space battles, I actually also begin to think about hardware again. So how big are battles gonna be in the final game? Are you gonna limit the number of ships and can be seen on a screen, or how are you gonna handle
well,
this?
we don't quite. That's part of what we're working on right now. It's part of the reason to do this sort of thing, so we can get it out there in the wild and see how it is. But yeah, I mean, our goal is to be able to have not only just sort of the smaller single-seater ships, which Erin's running around in right now, but also to have bigger ships. So in the event on Friday, we'll be showing the Constellation, which is a 4-person ship, and we'll be showing a preview of that potentially being in fighting.
Okay.
But there'll be much bigger ships too. So we have bigger, sort of what you would call a capital ship, like a destroyer or a cruiser or a carrier, and that's actually those also ships you'll be able to fly with maybe 7 or 8 of your friends and bring them into battle. So our goal is to try and have some space battles where you can have bigger ships and smaller ships and people to working together cooperatively or against each other, and give sort of the space combat area of this, like it would be more in the real world, whereas before it's all been very sort of focused on the single player kind of setup. So, and that's been kind of what I wanted to do forever. So the technology's kind of there to be able to do it now. Whether you won't be able to have 1,000 people there, but we're sort of shooting to be able to have between 50 and 100 players in any one area.
All right.
So we'll see. We're not there yet. We've got a ways to go, but that's our goal.
Oh no, so that's quite a lot.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Battlefield can do 64 on the PC.
Right. Exactly.
So we should be able to do that level of it. But yeah, the goal is how to do it. I mean, our ships are incredibly detailed, so that's a bit of an issue. But it's also the network bandwidth issue. So those are all things, and that's again why we put the early modules out, is to test it, have people play, stress test it, and try and improve and make it work in a real live gaming situation.
Right. All right. Anybody got questions? Please just show. Yeah, I just take it. So wer auch immer Fragen hat, wann immer, unterbrecht uns einfach, hebt die Hand hoch. Ich komme einfach gerannt. Wer war das?
You should cut out.
When will there be proper key binding? Because the first thing I normally do when I play a game is fully customize my key bindings and joystick access.
Okay, I missed. Sorry, I was.
Oh, when will you be able to fully customize your key bindings in the game?
First version of that will be in V0.9, which will be in 2 weeks' time. So.
Okay, that was easy. Anyone else? Jemand an? Noch jemand? Ja.
We had the Kickstarter campaign and the crowdfunding campaign with these amazing T-shirts. Will there be more?
But, okay, amazing.
Amazing T-shirts. Will there be more of those?
Oh yeah. So I think we have the Arena Commander ones that we just did and the Anvil Hornet ones, but yeah, as we go on, we'll do some new ones. It's kind of fun. So we always want to do T-shirts that are like limited, and then we do some new ones. So we'll do more.
Okay, any more questions? No, I've got a question actually, because what I've read is when you're flying a big ship like a carrier or destroyer, you can hire AI personnel to take care of specific tasks on board the ship. Can you go a little bit more into detail about what those tasks will be, what those AI characters can do?
Well, the whole idea of the game is that there'll be roles that either players or AI can take. So if you're just running around the universe by yourself, the AI is running around doing, trading, being pirates, doing all this stuff. So we sort of make it so we can switch out players or AI. So even right now, like on the, I can run like the thing that I'm talking about demoing on the Constellation, we can have like AI pilots fly out and man the turrets, or a real player can do it. So the idea is that you would hire these AI characters, and they themselves, cost you some money, and the more they get experience, they can maybe get better. So they would have their own sort of leveling up system. But if you hire a cheap pilot, he may not be very good. You hire a more expensive one, it'll be good. But you should be able to hire an AI to fly escort for you or to work on your ship. So you don't necessarily have to have all your friends. You can have AI help you out, but it's going to be more fun if you have your friends. But you certainly would be able to have AI as well.
Sure. But being a Star Trek fan, I gotta ask: can you hire red shirts to accompany you on ground missions or in firefights?
You know what? That's a good one. I would suspect that we probably would be able to hire people that can do boarding missions with you.
Yep.
I'm not sure if they'd have red shirts, but yeah. But we're definitely going to have the whole, like, the big ship, like engineering. So, Scotty going, can it give you any more power? So the bigger ships will allow you to have different stations and roles. So someone could just be the helm, someone would be the weapons control, someone would be sort of flight control, someone's down in engineering, and there'll be things that you're getting your ship's taking damage, maybe like circuits will break and you'll have to run down and fix them. So there'll be a lot of sort of extra gameplay revolving around that hasn't been seen in a space game before, and I think that'll be really cool.
Awesome. Yeah, that sounds really awesome. Any questions? Irgendwelche Fragen? Fragen? No. Oh, yes, we got one. And you're next.
We see Aaron here using third-person view to find the next targets. How is that going to be limited, both in the testing phase of the game and then once it's fully released?
Well, I actually asked my brother to go to the third person because the spaceship looks nice. He's not using it to find the targets. So generally, you do it all from the cockpit because the HUD, you have your radar and you have the HUD things. Your third person is not so easy because you don't have any of the HUD information. So, what's that?
Oh,
About third person? Yeah. I mean, because the spaceships look nice, so you kind of want to see them. But I mean, you don't have any HUD information. I mean, like literally, there's no, like, you see the arrow there and the radar target? I mean, I don't know why you'd go to third person. You basically know exactly, if you've scanned your target, you know exactly where to go from a HUD. You wouldn't know it from third person. I mean, third person's mostly just to go out to look at the damage on your ship so you can see it because it's kind of cool. I mean, you have damage right there on the HUD, so you don't even need to do that, but it's more just like, okay, that looks cool. You can see the thrusters moving, and so it's more for sort of cinematic, showing off the PBR, physically based rendering, or the damage that's been taken kind of thing.
So actually what I think some people might be thinking about when they talk about third-person perspective is the freelancery way to fly, so to say. To see your ship from the back and just
Yeah, well,
fly
the difference is that the freelancer mode, you have the HUD in the third person. So in Star Citizen, you don't get the HUD. So basically, it's meant to be immersive. So when you go on the outside, that's really more just meant to be sort of a chase camera kind of setup. You need to be in the cockpit for the HUD.
Okay. So, yes.
Will version 0.9 include some improvements to configure your shields or the power grid?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, so some of that functionality is already in there. If you actually bound the right keys to it, like you can actually change your shield and all the rest of the stuff. There'll be more of that and better in V0.9 and V1.0 will all be functioning properly. I mean, the idea is that you should be able to distribute power to your different items, balance your shields. There's a whole bunch of sort of like power, heat management that you're all meant to be doing that's in the system right now. It's just like the interface is not particularly good for it. So that's kind of like having the key binding, sort of being able to set that up, that'll help. And then we're sort of working, there's another pass of the HUD for better use and functionality, which will be in 1.0, not 0.9, because it's still got more work to do. So but we're working on all that. So that needs to be, the usability of the HUD and the system management needs to be better, and that's something we're focusing on.
Okay, mehr Fragen? Ja.
how will solar systems work? Will they orbit the planets? Will they orbit the star, or will they remain stationary like the data in Freelancer?
Okay, so the question is on the solar systems, are they going to be static or are they going to move around? So we haven't fully decided on that yet. I'm kind of leaning towards making them not be static, that they actually have a kind of orbit around the stars or whatever. It shouldn't be too hard to do because the way we're building our star systems, each one of the planets is a discrete object. So it's not sort of on a static map. But we haven't fully decided like what the mechanic of that is yet. Right now, the biggest thing that we're doing on a technical basis is that we're moving the engine to 64-bit instead of 32-bit because we need much more sort of range in the coordinates because like all engine, like Crysis or Unreal, they're all first-person shooters, and so everything's on foot, so you don't cover that much space. But in a spaceship, you can go thousands of miles like that, so you need a much larger map area. So the 64-bit is what we're doing right now to the CryEngine to change it for that, and part of that goes in with like where the stars go and stuff like that. So we haven't fully decided, but I'm leaning towards making them dynamic instead of static.
Okay. Fragen? Questions? Anyone? Okay. I'll just stay there.
How it will be possible to capture other ships?
I
You
didn't
get
hear
it?
that.
Will it be possible to capture other ships?
Oh yeah. Totally, it's going to be possible to capture and board other ships. So I mean that's part of
With your red shirts, actually.
with what?
With your red shirts. Your red shirts.
Yeah, with the red shirts. Yeah. no. So we're gonna have. I mean, a whole part of the mechanic is there will be shipboarding and you can capture it. I mean, obviously for a smaller ship, I mean, like a Hornet, that's not something that's so easy to board. But the bigger ones, like a Constellation on up, and especially the bigger ones, you and your friends, or you and some AI could try and take over and capture, and then it's yours, or you can sell it, or sort of go from there.
Okay, so you can send like an AI pilot over there and tell them, well, fly it back to base, and then scrap it or use it yourself, or...
You mean in terms of you capture it and then saying one of your AIs to send it back to base? Yeah, I mean, I think that would be possible. I mean, that particular thing hasn't been programmed yet, but that just sort of falls out of what you would probably do, because you'll have AI fly ships for you. So like you, for instance, could own 5 ships, and you could hire AI to fly 4 of them for you, stuff like that.
Will there be the next great starship?
Will there be another next great starship? Yes. I mean, we liked it. It was fun. The talent of the community was pretty amazing. So, I mean, there was work there that was as good as any of our internal guys. So, yeah, we liked it. So it was fun. I think, yes, we will do another one.
A pretty simple question about the Fight of the 300 series. They said on the website that he has a custom system of targeting from World OP or something. And what's the difference of this targeting system and the others?
You mean, what, on the 300i specifically?
No, the 325A.
Okay.
The fighter.
Yeah, well, so a bunch of sort of the targeting computers and items and the flight control stuff, the final game of the design is there's going to be different, like you'll buy different items, and this targeting computer can track 1 target, and this targeting computer can track 3 targets. And so right now, that isn't, all the functionality's in there, but we're not specifically saying we only have like 1 targeting computer item. But essentially what will happen as time goes on, we're going to be creating those items, and they'll be more specific. So one ship will have like a simpler version of a flight control, and another one will have one that has a lot more ability to customize, and it'll be like an upgrade path. But so right now what we're doing is we're just sort of getting the basic functionality in there and making sure all the modes. So like in the IFCS mode that you can fly in every ship, pretty much you can do everything. And we're going to add some new functionality for V0.9, like 6 degrees of freedom and a bunch of other stuff that will come out in 2 weeks. But in the final version, like if you have the very base starter ship, you may have a more simplified flight control. And then if you go and earn some money in the game, you can upgrade it and have some more features, and the same for the targeting system. So I guess what I'm saying is all the specific items with all those details haven't been implemented because we're still very early, but that will happen. And the functionality's there. So right now what everyone's doing is testing like all the features with everything on, but then as we go forward, some of the items won't use all the features, some will, and so on.
All right. Jetzt ein bisschen nach vorne.
Have you already decided whether or not you will put any of the other ships in the next Great Starship contest into the game, apart from the winner?
No, not yet. We haven't decided. So, would you like to see some of the other ships from the next Great Starship in it? What's that? The Talon ship? Okay.
Yeah, me
yeah,
too.
no. I mean, I like them. I like the top 5 or 6 of them were all great. So, but it is a matter of there's a lot of work to get the ship actually into the game. Besides, even the ship that won is still another 2 months to actually get into the hangar and get into the game because there's a lot of specific technical setup that has to happen besides just having an engine. So it's a lot of work. So that's kind of one of the things that we've got to figure out who's going to do that work. So if the teams that did the ships are willing to spend some of that work, then it's easier for us. If not, we've got to schedule it with all the other work that we're doing.
In Squadron 42, are there some unusual missions like flying on the surface of a planet or on some big space stations?
So you were saying Squadron 42, are there unusual missions like going down onto the surface of a planet? And so yes. So like Squadron 42 is going to be so much more than what a Wing Commander style story was because we have a full first-person engine as well as flying around. So there's a lot of sort of narrative and story that happens both in space and down on the planet or in environments that you're walking around in. So we have some, I mean, it's going to be like a big space opera. It's really quite cool. So I think people are going to like it. I mean, it's kind of what I've always wanted to do on that style of story game. And the person flying back here, Aaron, is in charge of the studio that's actually working on the single-player stuff. And we got some really great stuff. So I think everyone will be quite excited and happy. There's a lot of variety in it. So it'll be cool.
All right, and I think also a lot of people, or some people might remember the planetary missions from Wing Commander 3 and 4.
Yeah, well, these will be better. How much more detail.
Friends and me, we have been putting lots of thoughts in the clan system, and we're issuing how far will you go? Will there be a political system in-game so you can own whole systems, or are we having to do this alone and flying patrol, or will there be any design issues so we can actually hold the system as a clan, as a community?
Okay, so you're talking about the ability to control our own actual star system, right? So we don't, like there's definitely things that organizations or people would be able to hold. So like, an asteroid base, a space station. But in terms of like actually owning and controlling a planet, we currently don't have that in the plan right now. And there also isn't a way for someone to sort of really control a whole star system other than if they had all their players in that system and they were extracting bounties from people. But the system's also instant, so it's not going to be, it probably won't be possible for someone to completely control something. But we are definitely trying to figure out ways to make areas that can be player controlled and players can fight over, which is why I was talking about the asteroid bases and the star system. So that is part of the goal that we'd want. Potentially we'd have some of those down on the planet. And then, longer term, I don't know, maybe we'd have some kind of design that, someone could fight over an area, control of an area of space. But right now it's sort of limited to persistent instances. V1.0. So V0.9, which we'll do in 2 weeks, will allow you to send an invite to your friends, and so you get friends to join you, which is better than right now because it's just random. And then the full lobby system is 1.0. So that will have lobbies and full leaderboard system, and that's when we call 1.0, and it's all complete, which I would think is probably about 2 months away.
All right, we've got about 5 minutes to go, so
Okay.
I think 2 or 3, maybe 3 more questions. Yes, please.
Have you also thought of some Easter eggs? Maybe when you fly into an asteroid and you find an old Karate ship or something like that. That would be funny.
It will be. I don't know about a karate ship, but we definitely have lots of like little sort of nods and Easter eggs. I mean, like I was saying, Arena Commander is made by Original Systems, so yes, there will be kind of some fun stuff in there. But they're an Easter egg, so I can't really tell you about them. So.
Yeah, since there are so many games in this genre coming out soon, why should I prefer to play this game and not X Rebirth or No Man's Sky?
Well, actually, I like all the games. So for me personally, I backed Elite. No Man's Sky looks great. I backed Limit Theory, so I like space games. So my opinion is, if you like space games, you don't want to just be playing one kind of space game. I don't particularly think that necessarily need to be competitive, but I will say that on the Star Citizens front, the difference between what we're doing and what some of the other games are doing is that we're building a very detailed universe and world that you live inside, right? So when you're in the ship, you can feel the ship, you can use the ship, you can move around the ship, and it's got a tactile sense, and you go down on the planet and you have that same level of detail and first-person immersion that you're not necessarily going to be able to get in some of the other games. And it's just kind of what you want, because they're different. No Man's Sky looks really cool. There's a lot of exploration, but it's also going to be procedural, so it may not be as specifically crafted to have a specific universe and world the same way that maybe Star Citizen would. But my answer would be, you should try and play them all if you like space games. I mean, and then make your mind up. But Star Citizen is the kind of world that I like, which is a very sort of constructed world that's designed to like have you live inside it, and it feels real. It feels like it works properly. It feels like it's got genuine factions and political alliances and the ships and the manufacturers. It all seems like a cohesive real world. And I think that you have to have a certain level of like design and craftsmanship to do that. You can't do it all randomly. You can't do it all procedurally. So that's kind of what makes, I think, Star Citizen special, is the ambition, the level of detail, and the fact that it's going to do all these different things maybe at a level that you wouldn't necessarily be able to do in some other games. But play them all. That's what I say.
All right. I think I'll close with a question of my own. I'd like to call it devil's advocate question. Actually, I've seen that you're planning to sell in-game currency for real money. And a lot of people reacted to this by saying, oh no, he's doing a free-to-play game, everything will be terrible. So what are you gonna do? Is Star Citizen going to be free-to-play? How's this going to work?
No, it's not free-to-play. It's like Guild Wars 2. So basically you have to buy your initial game package, and then everything else is, you don't have to pay any more money. Yep. So basically, once you get into the game, once the game's live, you fly around, you trade, you do missions, you earn in-game currency, and then you can upgrade your ship, buy a new ship, buy property. So you should only ever have to buy the base game package, and that's it. Now, we definitely will sell some in-game currency for players, because there's definitely players that out there. I mean, there's a lot of them on Star Citizen that are older, they have a family, they don't have 20 hours or 40 hours a week to play, and so they're like, I really want that cool ship, but I only want to play 2 hours, so I don't mind spending a little bit of money to have some extra credits so I can go buy that. And so for me, the way I look at it is, it's basically, that's just a, I don't know, pay to be lazy. So you don't have to do it, but you pay, you either got lots of time or you got some money, and you can do either one of them. But ultimately, you have servers, you have a big team of people that are making content, building new ships, doing new features, and you're going to pay for them some way. So our model is sort of the Guild Wars 2 model, where you buy your initial package, and then we'll probably we'll get some incremental revenue because people will buy some credits, and hopefully that's enough to support the game and the universe going on, because we're not charging a subscription fee. So, and for me, that's what I want. I want this universe to go on for a long time, and we continually to add things and make it better, add more locations, more ships, more characters, more stories. And who knows if that model is the right model, but that's the one that I picked only because it's the sort of model as a gamer I'm okay with. That's my preference of a model.
Mine as well, and it's a fair model. Actually, when I'm saying, I really want the constellation, but I don't want to buy it with real money, or I don't want to buy the currency, how long might it take? I know we're far from there at this point.
Honestly, to me, I don't know. I don't know about that because we haven't balanced that level of stuff out. But I mean, the thing I will say is the thing I don't like in games is I don't like a game that basically makes it painful to earn the money, so you just pay money. That really annoys me. But the key of like a privateer or a freelancer or Elite was example of another sandbox style game. The fun is going out, trading, running the missions, earning the money. And so you're kind of like losing out on some of the fun gameplay if you're not doing that. Now, you may not have the time, so you may decide you just want to shortcut some of it, but it won't be any gameplay that you'll be missing out that'll be boring. And that's kind of the idea, but I really I couldn't tell you how long it's going to take to earn a constellation, but I would say if you played enough during a week, you should be able to, by the end of the week, you should be able to afford one of them. I guess it depends how good of a player and how many hours you put in.
All right. And I can always discover Hello Kitty system and make a fortune with that.
Yeah, you can sell your Hello Kitty flare pieces to other players.
Okay, Chris, thank you very much for being
you're
here,
welcome,
for joining us on the stage. That was great, really.
Okay.
Thanks a lot. Vielen Dank, dass ihr da wart. Das war super. Applaus.
Thank you, guys.
It's your
Thank
boss.
everyone here that's back Star Citizen. Thank you. And I'm sure I'll see some of you on Friday, so I'm looking forward to it. All right, thanks, guys.
Dankeschön. Thank you.
Vielen lieben Dank nochmal an Chris Roberts. Eine große Ehre natürlich auch für uns, dass er uns beehrt hat, dass er sich die Zeit genommen hat, hier vorbeizuschauen bei Let's Play Meets Gamescom 2014. Und das war natürlich nicht das einzige Highlight heute. Wir haben noch einiges in petto. Beispielsweise um 15 Uhr werden hier einige namhafte YouTuber vertreten sein. Wenn ihr gute Augen habt, könnt ihr es vielleicht sogar schon dort am Monitor lesen. Also LeFloid wird zum Beispiel hier sein, David Hein wird hier sein, Ungespielt, Frodo und noch ein paar andere Verrückte. Da freuen wir uns drauf, denn wir spielen Mario Kart. Der Telekom Mario Kart 8 Cup wird hier heute stattfinden. Mal sehen, wer so richtig gut mit blauen, grünen und roten Panzern umgehen kann. Die Herrschaften, die gleich kommen, haben mit Panzern eigentlich gar nichts am Hut. Das sind nämlich die lieben Kollegen von Wikia. Was die machen, werden sie euch gleich selber verraten. Für euch gibt es jetzt 2, 3 Trailer. Wir schauen mal hinter die Bühne, ob die Jungs startklar sind. Und dann geht es hier direkt weiter. Geht's euch gut hier bei uns an der Bühne? Ja, das klingt aber nicht so gut. Geht's euch richtig gut hier bei uns an der Bühne? Ja, Spitzenklasse. Also gleich geht's weiter, 2, 3 Trailer für euch, dann die Kollegen von Wikia und so allmählich machen sich auch sämtliche YouTuber schon startklar fürs Mario Kart Turnier. Die werden dann bald hier alle auftauchen. Mal gespannt, wer den LeFloid als erstes sieht.